So we'll now go over to this one. So if you'll notice, in terms of redstone, having a glass block somewhere is sort of like having what?
Air.
Yeah, nothing, exactly. So this is redstone does not care if there is a glass block here. It says, I do not care, I do not see you, you do not exist. So this happens. So right now, the redstone dust is taking a step down, and then right here, it's strongly powering the block below it. This redstone repeater reads the strongly powered input and powers this lamp. We move the repeater here, still nothing. Block here, still nothing. As soon as we put a dust, it does power. So this step down, in some ways you can think of it as this redstone dust here is powering the block below it, which is why this redstone dust here, down here gets powered. So
Gotcha.
there is that wire texture there, but you actually can't click on it. If you try to highlight it, you can't click on it. It doesn't show up.
Right. Right. So, okay, that's interesting. So you can't click on it because, like, how did it appear on the side? Did you put it on the side, or does it just like connect automatically when you put it on the top in both
It's a
places?
texture thing. So
Okay.
Minecraft knows, okay, there's a dust here, there's a dust here. I'll put a little bit of dust here so that they look like they're connected.
Okay, cool.
So, but the part where that sort of breaks down is when I do this.
Well, you just totally blocked it.
I did. So, yes, this block is strongly powered,
Mm-hmm.
the block below this dust here,
Mm-hmm.
but redstone dust doesn't read strongly powered in the same way that repeaters do. So if I
Okay.
put a repeater here, you notice it does get powered.
Ah, I see.
So that's because whether or not this block here is here makes no difference to the repeater because it's reading this block behind it.
Right.
But this dust actually cares about the dust up here and has to make sure that it can connect to it with this texture.
Okay, that makes sense.
So
That's
if we put
nice.
this block here, it gets cut off. And the other part of that is redstone repeaters don't strongly power the block below them. So if I put a lamp here, you notice it's not powered. But if I put dust here, it is powered.
Repeaters just give you that added flexibility.
They do. So they allow you to recharge your signal, delay your signal, and pull it out of places where you can't normally. And they do have some limitations because they can only take an input from one direction, whereas dust can take an input from any direction and still be powered, like in this cross. But if you tried to do that with repeaters, you notice that it doesn't quite happen the same way.
Right.
Because this repeater is actually only just sort of like pulling the power from here and resetting it and popping it over here.
Right.
It doesn't do anything to the sides.
Right. Okay.
And to the same extent, it doesn't do anything to the block under it, which is why this repeater is not being powered. So if we put a block above here, it's still not powered because this repeater is looking for an input. It's checking this block. This block is not powered at all, and so it can't find anything. However, if you wanted to do something like this, you'd put dust here because now this block is strongly powered by the repeater, and this dust sees that strongly powered block and says, oh, hey, I need to be powered.
Right. Okay.
So this dust on the bottom here, so that's right below the block I'm standing on, is actually being powered by the block I'm standing on, not the block under the repeater.
Oh, wait, say that one more time?
This dust
Yeah.
that I'm standing on now
Right.
is being powered by the block that I'm standing on.
Okay. Okay. I see.
It's not being powered by the one under the repeater. So
I see.
this is the block that matters.
Right.
So now, let's go over some blocks that you can and cannot place redstone on, because this is pretty important when you're building. Of course, you can place it on quartz and stuff like sandstone, like we already showed. You can place it on redstone lamps. You can place it on dirt. And all of that works fine. However, leaves transmit light. Did you get that?
That leaves transmit light?
Sorry, there was just like a giant static jump. So yeah,
Oh,
it's happening again.
no, that's okay.
All right. So as long as you're not hearing it. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll start again. We'll just pause for 2 seconds and start again, okay?
Okay.
So leaves actually allow light to go through them, which is why if you're standing under a tree, it's not dark unless there's logs above you. So, by that logic, you can't place redstone on it. Try to place redstone on the leaf, Dave.
Okay. All right, let me come
You
down
can
here
have
and.
some.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
I'm here for you.
Okay, got my redstone dust here. And. Oh, not that. Okay. And here we go. Oh, it totally doesn't work.
Yeah,
But
because there's
oh, I put it right
you
next to
can
it.
place it next to it, yeah. And so again, leaves in redstone are treated just like glass, which means they're treated like they don't exist. They're air. And you can't place redstone on top of air either, can you?
Nope.
So, however, this slab, and this is sort of an interesting property, you can place redstone dust on because it's got a flat surface that you can place it on, right?
Yeah.
But you can't place it on top of a half slab because redstone dust has to align to the grid, and Minecraft is a three-dimensional grid, and this is a half slab is like half of a grid, and so you can't place dust on it. But here, having the half slab take up the top half of the block means that you can still place on top, and the redstone can align to the grid.
Interesting. Okay.
So pistons are another type of block that let light through. Do you think you can place redstone on top of this very solid looking block?
Nope. It won't let me.
You can't. So even though pistons look very, very solid, you actually can't place redstone dust onto them. And the reason for that is because they transmit light through them. So light can go through it. And because of that, you cannot place redstone dust on it. Interestingly, you can place redstone dust on these slabs, and slabs actually block light. Even though they're half of a block, and they shouldn't, they block light. Yeah, it's weird. So, finally, try to place redstone dust on this dispenser.
Ah. Oh no, it just opened up the dispenser.
Yeah. So that's another challenge.
Should I
If
just
you
put
ever
some?
try to place redstone dust on top of the dispenser,
I put some
you
inside.
just open the dispenser.
Right.
Ah, thank you for the redstone. I'll take that. You can have some back. And the way you get around that is you hold shift. Now try to place dust on top of the dispenser while holding shift.
Wow.
So holding shift basically says, okay, ignore the block that I am looking at. So any action that I can make on that block in terms of opening it, don't do it. So when you're holding shift, you actually, even with your hand out, can't open a chest. Well, you can because chests are chests. But for instance, you can hold shift here and place redstone on top of it. But with your hand out, you'll still open it. But try to open the chest with redstone in your hand while holding shift.
Oh no.
Oh, come on, dude.
Here you
All
go.
right,
That's
I got
another
one back. Oh, nice job. You got that
Wrong
first
way though.
one.
There we
It doesn't matter.
go.
So while you're holding shift, you actually can't open it. but if you have your hand open, you can. If it's just your hand, you can.
Oh, okay.
So same things works with any other block that you have an inventory for, but this dispenser does not transmit light, therefore you can place redstone on it. This chest does transmit light, so you can't place redstone on it. So something cool about these half slabs is because you can place redstone on them, but they can't be strongly powered, you can use that to do some pretty cool things. So say I have some ceiling lights and I want to be able to run redstone past them without it turning on the ceiling lights. Okay? So if I do that, you'll notice it won't turn on my lights.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. Exactly what I wanted. So because slabs can't be strongly powered, they can't power blocks next to them. So
That's
it's a pretty useful trick.
yeah, for sure, especially for designing your home.
Yes, very. And now we're on to inverters and torches. So redstone torches reverse the signal. So right now, this lever is off, and you can see that by me putting this lamp under it. So when you flick this lamp on, or the lever on, powering the lamp below it, you'll notice this lamp is off. So what's happening is this block is becoming strongly powered,
Mm-hmm.
and this
Oh,
torch takes the input from the block that it is currently placed on.
okay.
So
So
it
it's like
is
the opposite
placed
of a
on top of
repeater.
this block. And so if you'll notice, if I do this, still doesn't happen, but if I move this torch to be on top, placed on the side of this block, it now doesn't care. It's just always on. It doesn't care anymore. Because it's trying to read an input from the block it's placed on, which is this one.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no input to that block. But if we put it back in the normal spot, it's strongly powered. This torch reads the strongly powered input and says, oh, I need to turn off because the block below me is powered. So I'm off.
That is interesting.
And torches also add 1 tick of delay. So if you'll notice, there's a very slight delay in how the light turns on and off,
Right.
as opposed to when you have this is instant. See how these two lights turn on and off at the same time?
Yeah.
But with the torch, they swap at a sort of slightly delayed intervals.
Wow. Okay. So it's like okay. So that's basically well, so I see that the next lesson here is
And
called
again,
an
you
inverter.
cannot place torches on top of what?
Glass. Oh wait, glass?
That's
You
not
can.
supposed to. What?
How
I
is
didn't know you could do that.
you can put torches on top of glass?
But you can't put them on the side of glass.
Ah,
I am very confused.
look at that. You learn something
So
new every day.
this has to be a bug. This is not.
Is it? Or is this a breakthrough?
Let's consider it a breakthrough. I went up here thinking like, oh yeah, look, I'll try to place this torch on top of the glass, and it's like, oh, you can't do that, and then, what?
Wow.
But if you notice, this torch is pointed up, so it should be strongly powering this block, and this torch should be off, but it's not, because glass is basically treated like nothing. But for some reason, you can place torches on top of glass because reasons. You can't place it on top of on the sides. So if you notice, now I do this, the torch is off like it should be. So right now, there's actually a chain happening to turn on these lamps. So if you flick this lever, lamps turn off, flick it again, they turn back on. So basically what's happening right now is we're using the torches to sort of hide the wiring underneath our little steps here. So this torch on the bottom is on because it's reading an input and doesn't find one because this lever is currently off, as you can see.
Okay.
And then this torch reads the input, and this block is strongly powered, so it says, okay, I need to be off. And then now this block that I'm standing on is not powered, and so the torch that is placed on it doesn't read an input and says, okay, so I should be on. And then that one's on, and so this block is strongly powered, which turns the torch below it off. And then that torch is off, which turns this torch on. And then when you flick it, this one turns off because it's now reading a strongly powered input, and basically all of them swap in sequence and turn the lamps off.
Wow. Okay. So here, can you flick the switch again?
Yeah.
I am just taking this all in. Okay, cool. Oh wow. That is that's really something.
Yeah, so it's a cool piece of logic.